What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Instagram tutorial. My name is Wommack, and today I want to show you something really special. I've just posted this Instagram picture that I thought would really interest you. It's a look of that neon sign. I've seen it in a few pictures before, and I tried my best to recreate this look, and I really love the result. So today I want to show you how to create those or add those neon signs to your pictures, to your sceneries. And you will need a little bit more than usual. This time you will need a computer and the Adobe Photoshop software. I'm using the C20, but older versions work as well. So if you have that, this will be a tutorial for you. Now, before we get started, I've created a lot of presets that I'm talking about in my YouTube channels, and you can all just easily paste them to every one of your pictures to make them look great. And they're in my all presets pack. It's on my website. The link is under this video. Over 75 presets for you in that pack. Just your smartphone and that free Lightroom app is all you need. Check that out for sure. And if you haven't already, also make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any of my future tutorials. And if there's anything I can do for you that I can take a look at for you next, just DM me on Instagram. @StevenWommack is my handle, or you could also always just comment under this video and I'll try to reply as fast as I can. Now I've said enough, let's jump in front of the computer. The first thing you want to do is import your picture. This is mine right here, the original. It's a normal daylight picture. It was a little bit foggy on that day, so for this scenery that's perfect, and it's at the beach. But the first thing you want to do is just darken it a little bit because it's still too bright, it's too close to daylight. So you hit that adjustment layer icon down here, and we want to create a brightness and contrast layer. And in this case, we just want to pull down the brightness a little bit. -34 is okay. Depending on your shot, this may vary. And the contrast, we just want to bump that up a little bit to around 17 in this case. That's good. And now we want to cool it down. We want to give it that blue look as if it was shot at night or at least dawn. So we create another adjustment layer. This time you want to create that photo filter right here, and then just choose that cooling filter 82 right here from that filters drop down menu. And now you can play around with the density depending on how hard you want this effect to kick. I think 30% is good, and preserve luminosity, we'll just uncheck this. So this looks quite good to me, and we can already start creating that bow, that neon light, the gate, and the text. And later on we can also even darken this picture to make it look even more realistic, but for now we just want to create that neon gate and that neon text. So what you want to do is create a new layer down here and just call it, let's say, main gate is good. And then you want to select this pencil tool right here, make sure that your color is white that you're drawing with, and then hit the shift button. And before you click where you want it to start, make sure you hit that shift button and then click, drag it up to where you want the gate to end, pull over, and now pull down. We just want to pull it in front of the stone to give it a little bit of a perspective here, and that's good. Now we hit the brush tool over here just to make sure size 4 is good in this case, and we have that soft brown selected, hardness 100%, that's perfect, opacity 100%, and our color is white. That's good. So we go back over to the pen tool, and now we right click on the frame right here and we hit stroke path. Brush is selected, which is perfect. We hit OK. Now we hit that right click again, and we want to delete the path, and now you have that white frame sitting right there in the middle of the picture. That is perfect. Now the next thing you want to do is duplicate it. You can just select this layer and hit Command J or Control J on a PC, and then you have this layer duplicate it. We want to rename this to outer glow right there. That's perfect. And now we want to go back to the main gate right here. And what you want to do is create that red or pink glow around it. So what you do is right click on here and then you hit blending options all the way at the top. And now you see that outer glow right here. So we check that and we select it, and now we can do some changings. Now since this is not the outer glow but that main gate, we don't want that big size around it. Just a small size is good, maybe 16 right here. Make sure that the color is red, and also let's see what color is selected. Well, yeah, it's not 100% red, it's just below that red in my case. So I just copy, Control C, this color right here. You could also choose a blue color if you prefer, or orange or green, whatever you want. Make sure you remember this number though, because we will have to insert that a lot later. So this is good. This is perfect, the outer glow. Then make sure that the contour is this right here, that second one, and then we're good. We hit OK. And now for the outer glow, what you want to do is you want to do the exact same thing. So we hit the right click, we go to blending options right here and go to outer glow. And now you just want to increase the size, and you can see on the left what is happening to the picture, that this is creating a even softer glow around it. That's perfect. This is what we want. So we hit OK. And now to me, this still looks too clear, too straight. You can really see that it's kind of inserted in the picture. So let's just kind of diffuse this a little bit, blur it a little bit. So what you want to do is go back to main gate right here, click it, and then you go to filter up here and you go to blur and select that Gaussian blur right here. And now you can see what's happening to that main gate. If you increase the radius right here, make sure the preview button is on, and it will just kind of diffuse, unsharpen it. We'll leave it at around 3 for the main gate and hit OK. And now we go over to the outer glow and do the same thing. Click it, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and now this for the outer glow, we just want to increase that even further than we did for that main gate, because it's only the outer glow. So maybe 15, around 15 should be good in this case. So we're done here. Now we have the gate created. Now what you want to create next is where the gate touches the ground. So what we want to do is create another layer. Let's call this, I don't know, call it bottom point. And then we hit the brush tool over here when the bottom point layer is selected. Hit the brush tool, and now you want to increase the size. The color, we will choose white right here. White is perfect. Size, maybe, yeah, this can be pretty big, maybe even around 300 is good. And make sure that this soft round is selected. And this time for the hardness, we want to select 0 right here. So then you go over to the picture and just click once. This doesn't matter where you do it. You don't have to do it exactly at the bottom of this gate, because we can pull it there later. But in this case, I just did it here. Now we do the same thing, go over here and we add this blending options by right clicking it, and do the same thing, go to outer glow right here, and now you can see this outer glow created around this white spot. Now for the contour, we go to linear, this line right here, and then you can see it's just a softer overlay between white and red. Now we can increase the size again, or maybe decrease, whatever feels good for you. This is probably good right here. Don't spread too much. Yeah, leave the spread at 0. Just play around with it. 0 and size 40 works good for me. So we hit OK. And now what you do is you hit that bottom point again. You go up here to edit, and now you hit free transform. And now you can just take the corner right here and decrease it if you want, or also hit shift, take the bottom right here and just pull it up to change the perspective. In this case, since the ground is flat, we want to change the perspective a lot, so make that circle flat, and now just pull it, click it, and drag it to where you want. You can also use the arrow keys to where you want it to hit the ground. Right here is perfect. Now the next thing we do is click the bottom point again, Command J or Control J on a PC, and now we have duplicated this layer, so we rename it bottom point right. So this will be the right side of that of the gate right here, that right bottom. And now again we choose this, go to edit and free transform. Now we can just pull this over right here and just slightly pull it over with the arrow keys to exactly where you want it to hit the ground. Let's say right here is perfect. And now we have this gate created so far. Now what we want to do is, this doesn't look real right around here, because if this left part of the gate goes down behind that stone right here, you wouldn't really see it glow in front of the stone. So what we can do now is just hit that bottom point right here, because that is this one, and now we hit the mask layer right here, and now we can just choose the brush tool and decrease it a little bit, hardness at 0, this is important, decrease it, soft round, until we can work on that stone. We can probably increase it a little more, so right here is good. And now if you see that white is selected on black, we want to change that, so we hit those little 2 arrows right here, so black is selected in front of white. And now we can just remove the effect, or kind of erase that glow on the stone where it usually wouldn't appear. So this looks a little bit more realistic. Maybe decrease it a little behind there as well to maybe like this right here, just flatten it out so it looks real behind that stone. So I'm pretty happy with this now, and the next thing we do is create that text. So it's exactly the same thing. Now what we want to do is create another layer down here, call it text, and then we hit the text tool over here and we click where we want the text to start. Now this is just a random filler text, so we choose it. Of course you can write whatever else you would like. Fear is a liar. And now you want to make this text white, so we change this, just hit this right here, and now the text is white. You could also choose the white up here. However, just make sure it's white, and we just want to hit this and move the arrow keys a little closer to that frame. And yeah, I think in my picture I created the text like this. I wrote fear, and then underneath is a liar, so let's do it. You can do whatever you want, however you want it, but I thought this was a pretty cool look. So now once you've created this text right here, what you want to do is basically the exact same thing as we did for the gate. You want to right click, hit blending options, and then choose that outer glow option right here. Now you can see that right there, you don't really see too much, so sometimes it really helps just pulling the size down, and also the contour up to this peak again. And yeah, this looks a lot better now. Now just play around with it however it works for you. I think this is good, so we're okay with this. And now once again, we want to duplicate this layer to enhance the effect. So we click it, hit Command J, and now we have a text copy right here. We can just leave it named text copy, we know what it is. And now you right click it again, go to blending options, and now you see outer glow is already on, but we just want to increase the size a little bit to just see some more glow around that font right there. Right here is perfect. And now again, this is too crispy for me, too clear, just doesn't look right, especially when it's in the background, since the background usually is a little bit blurry. So what you want to do is go to text copy first right here, hit filter, and then go to blur and choose Gaussian blur right here. Convert to smart object, that's what you have to do to use this effect. And now you can see that you can blur this a little bit. That light got a lot redder, but I think we can change that later. So we'll blur it to maybe 3.7 or maybe a little more. Maybe 7 right here is good. And now we hit the text down here and do the same thing. Go to filter, hit blur right here, Gaussian blur, and then we convert to smart object. And now you can see that it's almost blurred all the way out. So we pull the radius down to maybe yeah, around 1 is good. And now you can see that it's a little blurrier. Before it has just been too over exaggerated. Now you can always click that eye symbol right here just to see how it looks without and with those layers. So this is pretty good right here. The next thing we want to do now is create that glow on the body right here, since this should probably reflect, so you should see some effect of the red light on the skin and also on the water and on the stone right in front of it. So what you want to do is go down here and click that photo filter 1, and then we add a new adjustment layer. In this case, we want to use the gradient map right here. And now you see that it's turned this black and white, but we want to double click here and we want to create a red and white layer. So what you want to do is you still remember the color that we used for our frame in the beginning. So what you want to do is double click down here on that first spot right there, and then you want to insert the color code of that color we used. That's okay right there. And then click right here to create another node, and again you want to insert that color, but now we just want to brighten it up a little bit by pulling this over to the left to right here. That's good. And then we create another node right here by clicking this, hit the color and insert the same color. And now for the last one right here, we click that again and we want to insert something like black. Not all the way black, but just like a really dark red right here. That is good. Maybe even a little darker. Right here is perfect, and hit OK. Okay, and that's good. Now this looks super over exaggerated, so what we want to do is hit image up here and adjustments, and now we want to invert this. So it's kind of on this gradient map right here. Now what you want to do is erase the areas where you want this red light to appear or reflect, and that will make this gradient that we've just created appear underneath this layer. Sounds complicated, but all you have to do is go over here, hit your brush tool again, and make sure that your hardness is at 0, and you choose that soft round brush right here. For the size, you can do however you like. I think big works better in this case because it will really feather out the edges in a nice way. So a big one right here is perfect. And then you just make sure you switch here from white to black right there. And now you want to reveal those areas where you want the glow to be. Now, this looks too much, as you can see, so all you have to do is go over here to opacity and just pull that down a little bit so it won't be that hard of a light. So maybe around 40% is good. And yeah, once you've clicked too far out, maybe like right there, you can always just switch this panel right here and draw over it to just erase what you've just done, and then click back and just drag it to where you like it. Now in this case, we want to make sure that it affects the part of the face that's facing it, and also the part of the shoulder and arm right here. And it's really important that if we hit that magnifying glass right here and just zoom in, I can explain better. It's super important that if this light reflects onto the face, it will affect the face, but it will not affect this background right here. So what you want to do now by painting the face is being really careful to not hit this area just next to the face. So what you do is take that brush tool again, and in this case, of course, decrease the size a lot. Maybe 15 or 12 is pretty good. And now we want to draw over the front of the face and try not to hit this area too much. So just the part of the face that could be affected by the light. Of course, the hat up here is affected by the light as well. So just softly try and drag this across those affected areas. The front of the shoulder might be affected right there, and of course the shoulder. We already got parts of the shoulder, as you can see right here, because we drew this big circle in there, but we can just pull this down just to get the edges really nicely right here. Okay, so once you've done this, still looks too harsh. Just kind of try and smoothen it out to the bottom of this. And now this looks too harsh, obviously. So what we want to do is just go over to the gradient map that we've just used, and for the opacity, we just want to decrease that a lot, maybe to 17 or 18, and maybe again go back in, zoom back in here, and choose that brush tool again and draw some bigger brushes over there just to feather out the edges, because this is a really hard edge right here. Just want to soften it a little bit. As well as down here. Soften it out, and maybe even decreasing the opacity even more to around 14. Yeah, just try and get this right, maybe even making this a little thinner down here. So probably to right there looks okay, still a little too harsh. So again, opacity, we pull that down. There is good. And now the next thing you want to do is just add some more of that ambient light in there by just hitting that gradient map right here, and then again Command J or Control J on the PC. And now you see we've duplicated this gradient map. Now this is one where we could just try and add another light, but this time a harder light. So we pull up the opacity to around 48, and now we can choose the brush tool, and of course this is too harsh over here, so what you want to do is increase the size, and you can really just erase by hitting the black to white, erase all the effects that we have done here, because we're just affecting this layer, not the one that we have just softened out. So we can just go over all of this, and now click this back in, increase the size of this brush tool, and now we know we have the hard light because this is at 48%, so we can really just stress the areas that we want to stress right here, maybe to right there, and yeah, maybe hit the arm a little more, maybe the shoulder. Yeah, I think this right there looks super good as it is here, so we're not gonna do anything else to this. I like it a lot. Yeah, you can just play around with this. You know how it works now. Watch this tutorial a few times to really get into it, learn it, automate, and really understand what we're doing here. Now we just want to export this since we are done here. So we hit File, and you can export, export as, or quick export as PNG, export as, and now you can choose whatever you want to, whatever format you want to export. PNG is fine, these sizes are good, and we export. Now that's it, guys. This is what we get. Here's a before and after, and I've blown away. This technique really opened new doors for me to get creative, especially now in those cold months where the surrounding doesn't really always look super interesting. You can just add those neon signs to an otherwise kind of boring picture maybe, and really upgrade it and really turn it into a highlight picture. I hope this was good content. I hope you like it. Once again, check out my website. The link is under this video. I've created presets for you that you can just easily use with your mobile phone and the free Lightroom app, so no need for Photoshop for those. They're in that all presets pack, and it's a huge pack that includes over 75 presets of my YouTube, many celebrity presets, so check that out. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any of my future tutorials, because it could be something that I'm doing on your request. If there's anything that you want me to take a look at next, feel free to DM me on Instagram. @Wommack is my handle, and I'm always open for your suggestions, so let me know what I can do for you, and I'll gladly answer the call. Or you could also just comment under this video if you don't want to DM on Instagram. Now I've said enough. Thank you so much for watching. This is absolutely mind-blowing to me that this channel is growing as much as it is right now, and that's thanks to you guys. So I really have to thank you. I'm super grateful. I hope this journey will be a long one, so I hope I'll see you in the next video. Till then, peace.